Salute family and welcome back to another video. This is Black Truth United, and today we're going to do a favor for the good old dems. We're going to roll back the footage of not only the 2024 election but various policies and positions that the Democrats are taking which are hurting them. And by the end of this video you should see why the Democrats are not only in a fight against us due to their white supremacist leanings, they're actually in a fight against math itself. Now mind you, this is the party that constantly reminds people that those who go to college and are educated are more likely to vote for them. They almost declare themselves as the party of the sophisticated and the learned. But who do you know that's smart or even of average intelligence who fights against math? Democrats, I'm hoping you're listening. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll know why you're fighting a losing battle. So first, let's examine some of the methods that the Democrats use in order to gain numbers. They traditionally target the education system, but fewer and fewer people are believing in that. And especially with some of the blatant stuff that has been brought to light in recent years, people are either turning to homeschooling or debriefing their children more and more when they come home from school. In addition to that, college enrollment is down significantly. College is where a lot of strange ideas and philosophies are introduced to people, which are typically left-leaning. Now, part of that's of course due to the low birth rates of the suspected white supremacists, who are the ones who can actually afford college most of the time. But also it's due to immigration decreasing. For those who don't know, some colleges have nearly entire classes full of immigrants, whether they're legally here or illegally here. So that education system, it's not working like it used to for you. Then you have the media under your control, at least the majority of the mainstream media, which has been discredited countless times in recent years, but especially things surrounding the jab. So what happens? People turn to alternative media instead, which doesn't benefit you. People will gravitate to what messages they want to hear instead of what you attempt to force feed them. But let's examine some of the policies that the Democrats actually push, which end up hurting them mathematically. The first being what they promote all the time, especially in our communities, so much so that they had an outpost near the Democratic Convention Center, and that's abortion. Democrats, the more abortions your voters have, the fewer voters you have to replace them. And yes, I'm aware that the numbers do not reflect actual statistics due to the fact that certain states and jurisdictions don't even report abortion numbers, and with these new DIY abortions that they have popping off, there's no telling how many future voters have been unalived. Oh, but that's just one of your problems. You see, there's another thing that you push heavily, Democrats, which is also messing up the math, and that's LGBTQ. You see, when you push LGBTQ agendas, that leads to fewer people having procreative sex. Again, decreasing from your potential voters. And especially when you target the young through the miseducation system, you're really throwing your numbers for a loop. Another thing that you did which hurt your numbers was deciding to disproportionately target my people with the legal system, leading to a good chunk of our people, especially black men, having felonies. When you have a felony, you can't vote. And yes, even though we attempt to warn our people regarding the Democrats, black men still disproportionately vote for you. So you chopped off a good chunk of potential voters there. So what you did, which we could all see, you weren't fooling anyone, you tried to import a new voter base in order to replace us politically and in the workforce. Now what you didn't count on was the pushback from us, specifically against illegal immigration and that fake voting rights BS that you tried to pass in order to get illegals to vote without any identification. And no, it wasn't lost on us that most of the territories that you did manage to win had either no ID requirements or no photo ID requirements. And you really don't have any black grassroots support for that. So that's not going to work either. Also, Latinos, who you pander to, vote pretty much 50-50. Some are more right-leaning, some are more left-leaning. So importing more of them isn't going to fix anything. Also, while their imported labor does tend to hurt us more than any other group, other racial groups and other voting blocs are also starting to feel the pain. Groups that have far less patience and grit than us. They're breaking down.
Fucking everything's expensive. I own a painting company, I still can't fucking make it.
So you've turned a lot of people against you. And that's why now, maybe not the numbers that we would like, but at least a decent amount of individuals are being deported as we speak. You know, those people who you thought would replace us as a voting bloc? And even though they're not happening fast enough, at least the border isn't a free-for-all where you can selectively import our replacements. They really need to make this a more permanent thing through Congress. But at least it's better than it was before. But I digress. Then, Democrats, you did pretty much the dumbest thing you could have done, going against your core voting bloc. FBAs, yes, the people who you attempt to ignore politically by either lumping us in with every other group or simply not mentioning our issues at all. And you know we need specific laws that target us, since the laws from way back when and even to this day disproportionately targeted and do target us in a negative way. We told you we want reparations, or rather are demanding reparations in order to get our votes. You play games with that, coming up with every excuse in the book and doubling down on it to this day. With the recent case of Wes Moore, as I like to call him, Wes more of the same. I mean, how foolish can you be to attack and wage war against the very people who put you in office? The black vote is the swing vote, especially when it comes to battleground states like Georgia and North Carolina. And there have been reports that had the black population shown up by just 1 or 2 more percentage points in those battleground states, you would have won the 2024 election. Boo-hoo. You're also pissing off a young generation who's projected to be a bigger and bigger voting bloc. The old-timers and civil rights retreads are passing on, and this new generation is demanding tangibles. So if you want to keep losing, if you want to keep kicking against the pricks, fighting logic and math itself, go ahead and continue doing what you're doing. You saw that with the 2024 election, FBA society is prepared to let Donald Trump and whoever in the Republican Party come to power in order to teach you a lesson. This whole "we're bad but the other guys are worse" doesn't work anymore. We're demanding tangible policies, specifically cash reparations for foundational Black Americans and an anti-Black hate crime bill / law with specified protections and punishments that are enforced. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy who believes in basic math and arithmetic. I guess we'll have to see if the Democrats will be able to beat the odds, or rather, the math. Now, with all that being said, be one and be blessed, family. Peace.